Hi, Algebra. In lessons 4 and 5 here, we're going to continue using the number line to do addition and subtraction, and we're also going to start throwing some algebra in. Here we go. We're going to start out by looking at this problem. Which is longer, the distance from negative 26 to 59 or the distance from negative 27 to 62? We're going to look at how Lena, Michael, and Jay worked through this. So first of all, Lena's wondering, are we supposed to subtract? Like 59 minus 26 is... Michael says, wait, if we're comparing distances, I want to picture it. Let's draw a number line here. And then he adds on negative 27, that's in the problem, and negative 26. Lena says, the way you drew it, the distance between 59 and 62 looks like 20. Michael says, yeah, fine, I know the spacing is off, but the only thing that matters is the order. And he's right. So now Jay says, so we're comparing from negative 26 to 59, and from negative 27 to 62. And Lena says, okay, so the longer distance is between, and hopefully you can see up here on the number line, that it's between negative 27 and 62. Michael says, yeah, that's the answer, but how do we explain it? Lena says, what is there to explain? We can see which one is longer. Jay says, yeah, so what did we see? The distance has to be longer between negative 27 and 62 because of the order on the number line. We can see that, and we're looking down here. Which way should Jay end his sentence? We can see that the distance from negative 26 to 59 fits inside the distance from negative 27 to 62, or B, the distance from negative 27 to 62 fits inside the distance from negative 26 to 59. Hopefully you're noticing that the correct answer here would be A. Number 2 is another good example of where the number line can be handy. Jing says, what's the distance between negative 20 and 70? I think it's 50. Eva says, no, it can't be. I'm picturing the number line, and the distance has to be bigger. So if we put negative 20 and positive 70 on the number line, again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but the order matters. What is the distance between them? Well, from negative 20 to 0 is 20, and from 0 to 70 is 70. So the distance between the whole thing would be a total distance of 90. In 3 through 6 here, I put my numbers on the number line, and then with my arc, I drew or labeled the distance between them. And so make sure that you have this down the same way, and make sure you're asking questions if you need. The next thing we're going to look at on the number line is inequalities. So we're going to use the number line to show all of our possible numbers. So the first one, they tell us a clue that I am less than 300 and my name is P. So we write it like this. Remember, this symbol right here means less than. And so where am I? So on the number line, we could be, here's 300, right? If we numbered our number line, and P could be anything less than that. So we're going to draw a line with an arrow going less than that, saying that it could be anywhere along that number line, being less than 300. One important piece here is that I left this circle open because we're saying that P is less than 300, meaning it can't be exactly 300. So this open circle means that we're not going to include 300 in our answer, but everything less than that. Number 8 says I'm greater than negative 3 and my name is Y. So Y is greater than negative 3. And where am I? Well, let's number our number line. And here's negative 3. I'm going to put an open circle there because we're not including negative 3. And I want everything greater than that. So I'm going to go to the right where the numbers are greater. Number 9, I am greater than 28 and my name is C. So C is greater than 28. Where am I? Again, I'm going to number my number line to find 28. And I'm going to put an open circle because it's greater than. We're not including 28. And I'm going to go to the right where everything is greater. Number 10, I am less than or equal to negative 20 and my name is N. So N is less than or equal. Here's one that has or equal to negative 20. And where am I? So I'm going to number my number line. And on negative 20, I'm going to put a closed circle this time because it's or equal to. So it could be negative 20. And everything less than that is going to go to where the numbers are smaller, to the left. On to lesson 5, we're going to be finding the distance between numbers using the number line. So my first one, 71 and 100. So I'm going to put 71 and 100 on my number line, but I'm going to think of something a little bit easier first. I'm going to put 70 on the number line first because I know from 70 to 100 is 30. So I know 71 to 100 is going to be just one less than that. So I know that it's 29. In number 2, I'm going to go from negative 18 to 60. And here I'm going to do it this way. From negative 18 to 0 is 18. From 0 to 60 is 60. So I know my total distance between these two is 78. The key here when you're using the number line is that you can use it in lots of different ways, but make it work for you. So if it's easier for you to think of something that's easier, like 70 to 100 instead of 71 to 100, then do that and work your way to your answer. Or on number 2, if it's easier to think of distances from 0, then do that and find your answer. In number 3, I use a strategy of my distances from 0 and found my total distance. In number 4, I used the strategy of finding an easier one, so the distance from negative 40 to 0. And so I knew my distance from negative 240 to negative 5 would just be 5 less than that. Now we're going to have some clues like this one. I am 14 units away from 40. Where am I? Well, you could be 14 units lower than 40. So here's 10. Here's 4 more. So you're at 26. Or you could be 14 units greater than 40. So here's 10. Here's 4 more. So then that would be at 54. In number 6, I'm 10 units away from 3. So we could go 10 units greater than 3. That would be 13. And to go 10 units less than 3, I'm going to go to 0 first. That's 3 units. So I need to go 7 more to have a total distance of 10. So I'm at negative 7. Again, you can split this up in different ways. You could just leap your distance all at once, or you could do it in chunks on the number line to make it easier. In number 7, I made the leap of 40 units all at once to the right to get to 43. To the left, I marked 0. I knew it was 3 units to 0, and I had 37 left to go. So that got me to negative 37. Similar down here, 30 units away from 7 would be 37 to the right. And going to the left, I marked 0. It was 7 units to 0. I had 23 left to go, so I'd be at negative 23. In number 12, now we're bringing in algebraic notation. So I am 5 units away from m. Where am I? Well, I could go this way and be at m plus 5. Whatever number m is, I would add 5 to it. Or I could go this way and I would be at m minus 5, or 5 numbers less than m. So this would be how to start using algebraic notation on the number line. On the next page, Michael, Lena, and Jay's conversation really boils down to this. Just remember that we can do, sometimes the operations look different, but they are the same thing. So for example, m minus 5 is the same thing as m plus negative 5, and that's what we had seen with our checkers. So number 13, C, or 12 units away from C, we could be at C plus 12, or we could be at C minus 12, which would also be the same thing as C plus a negative 12. You could write it either way. On 14, we're going to plot all of these on the number line. They've already done n plus 8 for us. So let's do n minus 8. Just going to cross that off. That's going to be this way at n minus 8. Now let's look at this one, n plus a negative 8. That's the same thing as subtracting, so I could write it right here, n plus negative 8. Those two are the same thing. And then lastly, n minus negative 8. That's the same thing as n plus 8. And so I'm going to write that right here, n minus negative 8. Same thing. On 15, we're going to plot all of these on the number line. I have 3 plus 12. So I'm going to put that this direction, which we know is 15. I'm going to write that as well. And then 3 plus negative 12. So we're going to go to the left. 3 plus a negative 12, which I know is going to be negative 9. And then 3 minus 12, that's the same thing right here. 3 minus 12, same thing as 3 plus negative 12. And then lastly, 3 minus a negative 12. Again, that's the same thing as adding. So 3 minus negative 12 would go right there.